Hello, everybody, and welcome to Critical Reroll, the podcast by the critters for the critters about Critical Role and those nerdy-ass voice actors who play Dungeons and Dragons. I'm one of your hosts tonight. My name is Matt, and tonight I'm drinking Coke with a little extra something special. It's ice. I put ice in it. I don't drink alcohol. It's just Coke and ice.
Hi.
These are the life form known as Kate Dustin.
I'm Dustin, and I put a little something extra in this stream. Just you'll have to wait to the end to find it.
Hi everybody, I'm Kate, and I'm not drinking anything, especially not from these guys. I don't want to.
You don't like your drinks with ice in them? A nice little chill?
Drink the Kool-Aid.
Ah, understandable. So
I have a tracksuit and some tennis shoes.
that is information.
Are they Matt's tennis shoes?
Oh, I have those back. Thank you.
I have his pins though.
Yeah, I left those. I have to leave something every time. Anywho, Critical Role episode. I didn't write down what episode this was, you guys. A number. This is 140 of our podcast. And the team is currently talking to the little goblin with, I guess, people's favorite voice that Matt's doing so far, at least. Marrow. The
64.
episode 64. Yeah, this voice that Matt's doing with Marrow is pretty great and probably terrible to keep going.
Oh my god, how he can sustain it, I have no idea.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Right? When it's like, when he screams, he goes full, like, Star Wars droid.
I love it so
Wow!
No, it's totally a Muppet's voice. That's all I'm saying is it's really like a Muppet.
Yep. They need Muppets, more Muppets in D&D.
I agree.
But yes, so, admittedly, I was very confused, and I know some of you guys were as well, or you and Kate and Dustin were, because I missed the episode previous, and so I was very confused. I was like, why are they cooperating, or why is the little goblin cooperating so much with them? And then I found out why. Real quick, it's because they did a bunch of murders in this place.
Including a horse.
Including a horse. I forgot that they killed a horse. Those monsters.
I feel really bad about the horse.
More than
I don't
anything.
know how it died, but
It probably wasn't
I
good.
still haven't caught up. But yeah, there was murders in this, and apparently some drops and things. I don't know.
They invented the phrase "shot the messenger" or "don't."
Yeah, there were a lot of
messenger.
a lot of things were invented phrase-wise this episode. But yeah, so they start talking. They get some information on who people are, and then they decide to cut people's heads off so they could talk to them later.
Well, it's easier to carry a head.
That's
Well,
true.
what we do learn is that Marrow, what is that her name?
Yes.
Marrow, something of that sort. Yes.
Marrow. She
She
runs the establishment, and then if you want to have some sort of backside.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to have some sort of shady dealings in her back room or above her, you pay her some money.
Yes.
You come in and you say, "Hey, we want to do some shady shit," and she gives you
25 gold gets you access to a neutral, kind of stark, safe space that comes equipped with, a trap door for quick escapes.
You never know. We found out later that murders do happen there. I mean, I guess we found out last week that murders definitely happen there. But it's a lot of, like, gathering of more puzzle pieces and not knowing where they go. We still don't know anything about Blonde Man, Greg. We know now that there's a new drow person that knows who Yasha is, or at least the hobgoblin knew who Yasha is, and maybe by association the drow knows.
And that drow escaped through the tunnel or the trapdoor
The trapdoor.
to the back room and out.
To the not dead
Apparently,
horse.
they lost someone. That they
Yes.
were so.
just a lot of things not making sense and continuing to do so. But they do start thinking that maybe like this drow has been scrying on them, and that's why they know, because they message or sending to Jester
Yes.
about like, hey, I'm going north. If you want to talk about this, meet me there. Bring her. Her, we're assuming is Yasha, or they're assuming is Yasha.
Okay, that's really just weird because I have no context for this, but like they were supposedly get the drop on the whatever deal was happening here, and then this person tells them to come north. Seems weird.
Nothing's making sense. Maybe this drow is actually Dyren, but then Dyren can't cast magic unless they can, because they have some item that lets them send messages back and forth to headquarters.
But that's a very far away north, if that's where they said to go. Because where did they get the name?
That's another thing that I don't know.
Not overheard. I think not overheard that word. Or
Yeah,
no.
Yasha
Someone
overheard the
it, but
word.
Yasha was the one who said what it is. Yasha knows that it's a location.
Correct.
Which we find out is north on the map of Jorhas.
And to get there, they have two options. They can either go the longer route, that'll take 5 days, or they can cut through this place called the Barbed Fields.
Which sounds awesome.
Which sounds awesome, and get there in 3.
And we found out that it was ground zero for the
Final battle.
of the Calamity.
Yes.
We also learned that there's a bunch of undercommon written all over the map.
Yeah, because
Yes.
where'd they get it from? They got it from just like a random guy on the street, right?
They bought it, they bought it from a random guy, general store guy, I think, who just happened to get one recently, and it's
Yeah,
covered in
didn't
blood.
want. Yeah, and you didn't want to ask about its provenance. So.
R.I.P. Tyriok.
No.
That's as far as they made it. Yeah, so real quick, so on the topic of Orphan Maker, I was going to say Oathbringer, but that's...
Yes.
What do you guys think of them trying to, like... So everybody's got a fake name in this campaign. You've got Caleb, real name, I forget, and you've got Not, who's really Veth, and now you've got Yasha, who was named Orphan Maker, but, like, she got rid of that name when she ran away.
It's kind of a little back and forth on that. So we know that Yasha's one name is Yasha. That's how she talks about herself. But when she joined her tribe, she was given the name Orphan Maker.
Yeah, like through a right, everyone is given a name.
From reapernames.twitter.com or whatever it is.
So Cinnamon Roll is over there with Cherry Blossom
An edgelord, probably.
Yeah. XXX
Yeah. Sorry, the other one's taken. You'll need to add an underscore in there.
But then she left. So if she did things under this name of Orphan Maker in that time where she can't remember...
That's right, she's missing time.
Yep.
That's my assumption on where this is coming from. That she did something during that time period when she fell and was using the name Orphan Maker as her moniker when causing this reign of destruction. And that's how people know who she is.
I really want to know more about this thing that she joined, because it seemed like she wasn't born into it. She, like, joined this tribe. And, like, maybe when she left has something to do with her memory loss. Maybe not something that she did, but because she left and they found out, maybe I don't know. I want to know, because it's, like, a lot of different people. It's not, like, a race of Aasimar. It's just...
And I think she did something. I think maybe part of her redemption from the Stormlord might have been him taking away those memories, because she did some bad shit.
That would explain why she's got, like, these duo, literally angel and devil on her shoulder. Like, these are the people you killed, and, like, you've got redemption over here. You gotta fight out of the irons, or the whatever shackles. How did you guys think of the rest of the group kind of, like, joking that her name was Orphan Maker? Because she made it obvious she made it clear, not obvious, but made it clear that she didn't create orphans when she got the name. That's not why she's named that. But everyone kind of like, what's up, Orphan Maker? Badass name. Cool, we're going to call you that. Going to call you Orphe.
No Orphe.
Yeah, I wasn't a fan
Yeah.
of it. I mean, you could tell that she was or she's playing Yasha as being like a little uncomfortable with that name.
Also,
But you know, this is the Mighty Nine. They don't really care about feelings.
They're assholes.
that's true. That's very true.
Still, 64 episodes in, there's still just a bunch
Still
of
assholes.
random decision assholes. Some of them are lovable.
Some, just Caduceus.
They straight up threatened to kill Morrow if she tells anybody they were
Isn't
there.
that's like messed up? They're all, and they all just went along with it too.
I'm
Yeah,
like,
That's-
hey, you know how to make that spell, right? Oh yeah, I know that one.
But see, that one makes sense though, because like we all know Ford's doing this like weird ass chaotic garbage, being just an asshole to people. But Jester probably saw it as, oh, we're playing a joke. This is a joke.
Right.
We're
yeah,
joking.
Yeah, she sees it as a joke.
Not a joke.
Not a
a
joke.
joke. They wanted to keep her in line, and it's a little terrifying. And then they cut off the thing's heads in front of her.
Yeah, that's why we get the droid noise, like, "Wah!" or whatever.
Yeah.
I can't.
And they
Yeah.
had to cut the heads off. They had to cut the heads off of the Hobgoblin and the Dragonborn because they didn't want to bring the whole bodies with them, because Caduceus cannot do his speak to dead that until the next day.
And they weren't planning on staying in town any
You
longer.
don't need a whole intact body.
Just need
No,
something
just
the
that.
mouth. Literally just the mouth.
Just mouth. Just this part,
Just that
right
part.
here from cheek to chin. Yeah. So they decide they're gonna go back to the Jor house.
I'm
And-
glad
Yet-
that it's called that.
Yes, they do like. I do
In the middle stands a tree. Your house.
Your house. It's not.
Did you guys think it was interesting though that they wanted to not tell the Bright Queen any of this information that they have?
No, I mean that's what they do. They're still
What
not 100% sure
information
on
do
what
they
they're
really
doing.
have?
You're right.
They don't
Yeah.
even really know what they have.
Well, they know that there's a drow involved. They now know a name.
Yeah,
Oh no,
but
they don't
they-
have that name yet. So never
No,
mind.
they don't have that name. That they don't get that until they talk to the heads, the talking heads, burning down the house.
Oh boy,
Ah!
Oh, no.
you got me with that one. But yeah, so they could either go around and take the hallowed path or go straight through the barbed fields. And when I found out that it is the battle site of the final the final match, the Calamity, coming at
In
ya.
this corner, we
The-
have the Chained Oblivion, and
And
in
it is-
this corner,
The Matron of Ravens. I don't know, something ridiculous. But of course,
I think it's Pelor. I think it's
ready
Pelor.
to-
Pelor. No, it's Pelor. So this kind of is one of the questions that we have. So if you don't know, we ask questions via Google Forms, so you can ask them in long form and not have to worry about people getting on you about tweeting spoilers and questions and replies and everything. This one doesn't have a name, so we're gonna call it Jeremy. Thanks, Jeremy. So Travis was super excited to go to the Barbed Fields. Would the characters have been as amped to visit the site of cataclysmic destruction? So this is like Travis versus Ford.
No, I mean, Ford is evil, so maybe.
Ford is evil, but we also know this is pretty much canon at this point. Ford is a big fucking scaredy cat. Because I don't know.
This is
Ford
scaredy
is-
cat.
See, but he says a lot in Ford's voice that people reply to it. So like, at some point, I would like confirmation that
Look,
Ford is a
they're
scaredy cat because I
mess.
love that.
All of them together,
I know they're a mess.
convoluted mess.
But that is the one thing that like is sort of metagamey that I want to be canon, is that Ford is just scared shitless of ghosts and
Oh,
scary
I-
things.
Ghosts. I mean, yeah. Bunch of
Ghost.
Ghost. Yeah, he's Shaggy. I don't know.
I mean, it's really hard to not be a player and hear something that's like hugely rich and deep in lore and not be like, we're going there.
Well, especially since the
Even
last
though-
campaign, Calamity
yeah.
was thrown out all the time.
Yeah.
Calamity, Divergence,
Even-
Spark, or whatever, Second Spark.
Even though it's probably just a bad idea. But yeah, go where all the bad shit happened.
Because they ask Mara, they're like, have you ever been there? She's like, fuck no! Like, why would you want to go
Yeah.
there?
No one goes there.
Fewer come back. But it does make sense that you could find.
Place.
Yeah, we know that there's terrible creatures and was it errant magic?
Lingering
Yeah.
magic.
Lingering magic. That's a fun time all the time. Lingering magic is always good.
It's also called the Barbed Fields, and they never asked, like, what's barbed about it? Like, what does that mean?
That's where Barb went when she was taken.
That's why they made that joke! Oh my god, I get it now. It just clicked.
Never seen Stranger
You
Things.
have only have the first season? What do I have in my notes that they do next? Oh, the Moorbounders.
They go get their big boys.
They get their big boys, so they haven't fed in a day. Shame on them.
Poor big boys.
Because, I mean, you need to feed those things, or otherwise they start eating whatever they can.
Yeah, I didn't like that they're like...
Then they make a stop because they know that there's a horse that they can feed. And then it's just disgusting as they eat the corpses, which I didn't need.
They also take the time to identify the sword at this point, even though Matt didn't have the card on him.
Oh,
but they did
yeah.
identify.
That's true. Because it's after the break he comes back with the
paper. And we get to know what's on it. Which I don't remember now.
It was the Skin Gorger.
Yes, it's a horrible name.
Horrible name.
And it's like it doesn't even have a hilt. Like it's got two handles on the back of a jagged piece of metal, and you just like swing it like an old weed whacker.
So it is a +1 greatsword, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
That does 1d8 extra acid damage and crits on a 19 instead of a 20 if you take a point of exhaustion on your bonus.
Excellent. Yes, Chinscar. It's a Final Fantasy sword, 100%.
Yeah.
I'm picturing Yasha becoming like Cloud and just having a bunch of swords on her back. And then she'll get like a motorcycle that has swords in it, and she can pop them out and like put them together.
And running real quick back to the map. On the map, because it was all in Undercommon, Caleb was the one who did the languages spell on it. And they got a place called Charis, or Chara? I don't know. Charis, something. I wrote it down. I didn't write it down phonetically. A 26 intelligence check failed.
Yes.
Or history check or something. Failed on what this place is.
Oh, you put my horribly cobbled together.
I did. This is a map. Because it does help me see what... Because I always thought Jorhas was on the left side, but it makes sense that it's on the right, because they kept saying...
Yeah, that's my quick confusion about all the lands, so I sort of tried to put them all together.
Yeah, so if you're listening...
Everything's in different scales.
If you're listening in podcast form, you should join us live and check out the visuals we're starting to set up. So yeah, they feed the Moorbounders, they dispose of corpses, that kind of is extra. Not really questions, but like little, Mighty Nine's Moorbounder cleaning service, comment cards that people are sending, and
they should have had them lick the floors at least, so that she didn't have to like mop up all that stuff.
Right. It's like ate a body and then it licked... Who did it lick? It licked somebody in the face.
Like it like Yarick or whatever
yeah.
licked Caleb.
Yeah, he's like, I shouldn't like it, but I do. I mean, these are just the grossest puppies, cats, but I do love them. And I care more about their safety and well-being than I do any of the party. Moving forward, they mount up, they head out, and first night have no issues, so they decide to do all their magics.
Well, they head out of the Ghostlands towards the Barbed Fields, and...
One interesting thing... Oh, I think you're going to say it. Sunlight?
I was going to say they get to experience a sunset for the first time in a really long time.
Yeah. And it was like an immediate thing. I thought that was super interesting, that they literally like passed a point and then bam, sunlight. So do you think it would be useless for them to like triangulate how much of like is covered by this enchantment? Maybe figure out where the center is if they ever need to take it out?
They could. I mean, they definitely could try.
They could try.
I'd certainly try.
Yeah, always. Yeah. So the first night in the they're in the Badlands, right? I'm just gonna call it the Badlands.
They're on the edge of the Barbed Fields. The Barbed Fields are described having like leafless trees and heavy, jagged rocks that look like people were like thrown into the ground and they kind of like shot up. And there's oil puddles and dusty floor that's like all broken. It's very, very stark and barren. They said there's very little life. There's some insects that they see crawling around, but there's no like real mammals that they're encountering. Very little birds that they're encountering.
Yeah, most birds are like the scavengers, and there were like little armadillos with spines on them.
And that those who have traveled there, sometimes as they've been put out of the tribe, they have to go there to like for.
So
I
like a
forget,
yeah, a test of will, like, yeah.
test of wills, that kind of thing. Um, to have described it as like a hellscape of survival, and that they have found creatures from parallel planes there, things that don't naturally exist in Exandria.
Yeah. That was my favorite piece of information because then they meet one of these fun little beasties. Or three of
Well,
them.
they do decide to rest
Yes.
first because,
Yeah,
like, if you looked on the app on the live stream, Bo was the only one that had like no. I mean, she had like 30 something hit points. Everyone else was
Bo
like full health, and I think she was trying to convince Caleb to let them rest.
Well,
And they
she mentioned it, and Caleb then actually took the initiative to be like, "Hey,
Yeah.
I'm tired. I would like to rest."
Yeah.
Rather than her having to show any vulnerability, which is interesting because they've been together for how long, and she's still kind of skittish about that. So then they kind of do a little bit more looking around. They look at those rocky spires and get a little bit more of the idea of these giant barbed structures that are sticking out of the ground. That they have this unnatural feel and seems to be the same material almost as the mountains that are between Jarhas
The
and the
Penumbra
Empire.
range, yeah.
That they do a check. It's not bone. They figured that out. And they're random. They come in different, like 15 to 40 feet range, and they're scattered throughout. I do like that Caleb sent Frumpkin the Vulture up to see if they actually formed any kind of picture with them or any kind of design,
like Nazca line sort of things.
Yeah. I wonder if there is some kind of line that they're following. Like we know ley lines exist in Exandria, so I wonder if they're following a ley line.
Yeah, it's very interesting. It's fun to speculate on what these things are.
It's the spine of the crawling
just didn't get high enough, and just just a smile.
Or they need to get Frumpkin to fly like really fast horizontally, and it's like one of those lenticular like things that you look at it a different way.
Oh, yeah.
Or you have to look at it from underground.
It's a giant henge.
It is a henge. It could very well be a henge.
But yeah, Matt made it clear that we don't know if they were like placed there or jutted out from the ground, or they've been there for so long, which is saying something that you don't know. Nobody knows.
Nobody knows.
The troubles and the barbed fields. And then they happen upon a man facing away from them.
A sad little man.
Just sad little man.
Towards the end of it, towards the end of the second day.
Yeah.
That they're the first full day in there. The second day they're traveling. Caleb automatically, as they're starting to like wander, casts Major Armor on himself and then gives Bo the gift of alacrity.
Alacrity.
Yeah, kind of as a
Dunamancy.
preparation.
Which is the first Dunamancy. I mean, yay, Dunamancy. I don't know if they used it in the episode before, but
I don't remember. But I do like that it was the Moorbounder that was kind of like, oh, buddy, something's not right here.
And that like means something if it's a Moorbounder, because these things seem pretty fearless, and so for that thing to be afraid, like you be afraid.
And we get a description of this humanoid leaning against a tree. Caduceus automatically does Eyes of the Grave, which doesn't ping anything.
Yeah, I thought that was interesting. I was like, oh, no, this totally gotta be someone dead. Like, it has to be.
Right. So they get this humanoid with, like, pale skin, gray skin, no hair, which then they all start joking that it's Grog. And that it is breathing, but he's slender and emaciated looking, the skin pulled tight against his ribs, and he has white eyes and dragon teeth.
And it's leaning across. Keep going.
He puts his arm up against the tree, and instead of a hand, it's like this big pointy hook thing.
And then he has a hand coming out of his stomach.
He's got 3 arms.
And then there's another one.
And then at Legend of Zelda style, like chases you.
Well, it does that like the noise that those ones from the Legend of Ocarina, not Ocarina, yeah, Ocarina,
Ocarina of Time, yeah.
yeah. Sorry, because I was talking to my dad today about A Link to the Past. And they make that, and then we get
I hate it.
a whole battle where it's just turn over and look at
Yeah, just
Travis Willingham.
just
All I had to
watch
do was
Travis
watch
for an hour.
Travis.
It's so worth it. Oh man.
Because like he describes the thing as like doing this, and then comes like towards you and like.
And
Travis-
they're all like, no! So scary. Why? He's like, I hate when you do this.
You don't have to make the sound every time.
yeah.
And so that gives us one other question. Any theories on what the 5-armed Slendermen were? Yeah, we got confirmations on what they are. Let's move over here to this other
Stuff
screen.
in the Shadowfell, guys.
The Shadowfell is effed up, y'all.
Yeah, it is.
So there are things called
Especially these things.
the Sorrow Sworn, which are embodiments of different forms of despair and distress. They have this thing called what's it called? Emotion given form. So each one personifies a different aspect of despair and stress, and some of their names kind of give you an idea of what is like terrible about them and how you can kind of best their special abilities. So there's 5 in the book. There's one that they met, but I just liked how they all looked, so I got pictures of all of them. So first you got the Angry, which is a big 2-headed guy with hooked arms. Their fun thing is if you hit them, they get advantage on attack rolls because you made them mad. You got
Glad we didn't read those.
yeah,
That's fun.
yeah, and if you don't attack them, they're confused and have disadvantage on attacks. The Hungry, which are just insatiable hunger, because these are all based on like if you get stuck in the Shadowfell, these are the different things that you kind of go through.
Yeah.
So there's nothing to eat, you go hungry. So with this one, if you try to regain hit points within a certain radius of it, it gets to do extra psychic damage when it attacks, because it kind of like eats your healing, which is just so great, right? You have the Lonely, which just wants a friend, and so it has 2 harpoon arms that it shoots out and pulls friends near because it just wants to be around.
Yeah, it just wants to give you a hug.
And so as long as there are at least 2 other creatures within 30 feet, it has advantage on all attack rolls because it's got friends now. And then there's the one that we met, the Lost, which is just great. So this is you going lost and you just need something there to hold you. That's why they got so many arms, more hugs.
I like how the last 2 are like hug-based monsters.
Well, that's not even the last one. The last one is just like creepy little demon dog with 2 legs.
Oh yeah, those things.
The Wretched, which are just annoying things that latch onto you.
With the lamprey mouth. Yeah.
Yeah, they latch on so you can't pull them out. It's great. But the fun thing with the Lost that they fought is they embrace you, so they could either attack twice with their arms or do the embrace thing, which we got to see a lot of. And it literally, as long as you're in its clutches, if you end your turn there, you take psychic damage because it just fills you with dread. And if anybody hits it, it gets to use its reaction to also deal more damage to whoever's embraced. So it's
so bad.
Yeah, it's like you are lost in the Shadowfell. This thing has you, and the more your friends try to save you, it's going to hurt worse. Which is just effed up Dungeons and Dragons. So yeah.
What were you on when you made these?
For real though.
Yeah, the Shadowfell is a thing.
It's a bad thing. And like the Shadowfell,
Well,
that is where
We've been in the Shadowfell too.
Yeah,
like,
and that's where the like in D&D, I guess proper lore, that's where the Raven Queen has her domain somewhere in the Shadowfell.
It's evil fairyland.
It's just bad. It's just a bad place.
Remember when we just fought gentle things like mind flayers?
Or like,
Or
a big frog.
Or
Remember
like
the-
big rock?
Remember the days of Big Frog?
so
yes.
long ago.
Right. So they have this big battle. It doesn't go great. They all have this ability where they have a damage resistance to bludgeoning, piercing, and slashing damage when they're in dim light or darkness, like the Shadowfell. And it's not from, magical attacks. It's all bludgeoning, all piercing, all slashing, which is, like, it sends Marisha for a loop because she's like, I got magic hands. I can punch ghosts. You can't punch your feelings.
Now you can't.
You can't.
these ghosts.
You can't punch the embodiment of the feeling of being lost.
I mean, can't you?
You can, but it's not gonna do extra damage.
They're just super slippery in the shades.
Yeah, the shadows make them slippy. But anytime I hear Slippy, I go straight to Star Fox. Like, why is it a frog?
Yeah.
We're back to frogs. But yeah, so they fight these things for a while. Did you guys have any fun moments from the fight other than Travis? Just
So many
Travis
bad
being
hugs.
a person.
I liked that I don't remember how much they did, but I liked that the Moorbounders were like in the
Yeah.
in the initiative, like they're up in there. I'm hoping that there's gonna be some sort of design reveal because I'd love to see like official like what
Well,
Moorbounders look like.
Yeah, he said it was or Laura said it was a reskinned horse that they were using for stats, I believe.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I would totally love to see.
but I
real
love that
art for
they kind of got in there because they're like big beasts. It's nice to not have to worry about mounts because these things
They attack.
are nasty.
And
I
protect.
think I mean this battle was fun. I liked it because it was just fucking creepy, and there were a lot of things that that they just didn't, like Yasha losing her rage. Like there's just a lot of fun complications by them having to deal with,
Yeah,
communicating that, hey, we can't hit him that well. We need light or something, like,
Yeah.
or like FMA says, the random swarm of bats that just came out of nowhere.
Yeah, that was just a fun
Can
thing.
I
Like,
punch
oh,
bats?
out of the trees. Yeah, of course you can punch bats.
Sure.
I like that she was using the staff like as a helicopter, kind of propeller
Yeah.
thing. Like, ah!
I like it, and because like when Caduceus was standing over Caleb, and he's just like, get,
Go on, get.
get.
I liked.
Get him, Diddy! Get him!
Yes. I forgot about that video. I like you're saying that like this is a lot, kind of not a lot, but like things did go wrong. Like the rage not rolling a natural one, I think for the first time with the Tinkertop, whatever name.
Oh yeah.
The thing has, and it just shoots back on her. I just liked.
Bo had a lot of. Sorry.
I just liked how Ford was just in the wrong place all the time.
Yes.
Like.
Bo had a lot of fun flavor too to this fight. Like Marisha was really
Yeah, she was on like good rolls too, and
on good rolls, but also she was really descriptive and like mixing things up,
Yeah.
especially with her finishing blows on her how he wants to do it. Like, oh yeah, no, I grab him and then I do this and then I throw him over my knee. Like she was using actual moves.
yeah, I think she ran it because she
Yeah.
was like 29 initiative. She ran in, she's like, I just do like a barrel kick to the chest and just start. Yeah,
Just
Yeah.
the
she was
whole.
very. She was
I do the
monkeying
hammer
it up.
punch and then
Yeah.
I do this and then I break him over my knee and look at Yasha to see how that goes.
I like toss my hair back.
And she's like, "Oh dang, well that one was killed by Bo."
Well, Bo got that one.
Then you have
And
other.
no sir, where she grabbed the dude's head and like yanked him back.
Then you have the other
There's some good clutch saves too out of all that.
clutch save.
Yeah.
Good shipping moments of Jester using her spiritual weapon to save Ford, and then
Oh.
getting a little cheek kiss.
Jesse.
Yeah, that
So
was
every
that,
time Ford calls her Jessie in the cowboy voice, all I can think of is like Toy Story, and I'm like, no.
Golly, Bob out.
There's a snake in my boots.
Oh boy,
I mean,
there
there's
could
a
be here.
snake- There's a giant underwater snake.
There's a snake orb in his chest. I don't know.
Oh boy, but yeah, they
But that
end
was a
up.
fight.
That was a fight. They killed a swarm of bats and 3 of the lost things. And there's so many other like Shadowfell baddies that could come out, so that's gonna be fun moving
Actually,
forward.
We don't even like what other planes like tap into this
Yeah.
that they could come across.
What's like the big one, the something dreadnought, like abyssal dreadnought thingy? That's gonna be there. You know that.
Matt
thing's-
has teased that's one of his favorite things, and it's like a fucking
Because
impossible.
it reminds me of So you and one of our other hosts, Jess, when y'all were playing WoW, there's like that big monster that just roams the land and like will attack you if you get in it with
Oh,
ready.
yeah.
That's totally what this Dreadnought's gonna be, just like a century around this place, and
I
they're gonna
kinda
have to
hope
hide
that
from it.
Like in the end game of things, like that Dreadnought comes into play. I don't know, but I'm hoping, because I know that that's one of his favorite horrible things.
There's gotta be something big roaming these planes.
Yes.
Kind of like what John Allenson says. When I first read these in the Tome of Foes, I wasn't exactly sure how I would use them as a DM, but Matt's use here in the Wasteland, they're just traveling. Matt's use of them here in the Wasteland they are traveling in was inspired. Yeah,
I love it.
it's just like, where else would you put these on the material plane?
I'm
Well,
excited to
yeah.
see the other things that pop up.
Yeah, same.
Because we haven't had a Matt Mercer special in a while.
No, we haven't. But with everything that's being put out, there's just so many more creatures now that he gets to play
Yeah,
with.
he can tap from, like, even with Tome of Foes and stuff like that. There's so many like wonderful things out there
Yes.
that he can tap into and reflavor a little bit. But
Especially now where there's no limit. Like anything
Yeah.
goes in this
I'm
barbed field.
so looking forward to see what else he pulls in.
It's gonna be fun. But they finish, and it's now time to speak with the dead. I don't know why I did that.
Talking heads.
Talking heads.
They go for the hobgoblin first.
They do get the hobgoblin first, and that's where they
do
get the most information. Go ahead.
well, I mean, because like, speaking with the dead, they can still lie. They don't have any reason. They're not compelled to answer you in any. I mean, other than they're compelled to answer 5 of your questions.
But they can
They're
lie.
not compelled to, and they did a good job of setting up the thing to roll good on deception, to look like the people. So with the hobgoblin, they set it up good. They thought about the questions really well. When we get, I don't think they thought of everything for the Dragonborn, being that he was a messenger. I mean, I would have approached it a little differently, but the hobgoblin gives them some good info.
I liked leading
Well,
up
they do
to them.
have-
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say that I liked them leading up to talking with the dead. That like, I turn into this guy, and then Jester and Nod
Yeah.
are like, I'm Marrow now, or like I'm someone else
Yeah.
too. I can play.
So we got Ford disguised himself, masking many faces, as the Drow. Caduceus looked like Greg, the blonde guy that they've been scrying on. Jester looked like the bugbear from Marrow's shop and not look like Marrow.
Just cause, like, why not?
Why not?
Costume party.
And then all the people who can't change are like, I'm gonna go over there now.
Is it kind of just like Homer Simpson's into the void outside the tent? But yeah, from the hobgoblin we get a name. We get Oban, which is the name of the drow, we're assuming.
Yeah, 'cause he was there protecting Oban, right? Is what he said.
Yes. And that they're to meet at the tube under Zataran's Ben Bezonian Azkaban. Bezosian? Bezosian.
Bezozan.
And that they asked.
I want Zatarans now. This is good. And I hate you.
Yeah, the old man. They asked, who do you work for, what organization, and the hobgoblin says that they follow the Angel of Irons, which is like, what is this new player in this big scheme of things?
And then we know that the Go ahead, Jess. Or Kate, you're not Jess.
I said they failed on a 22
Yeah.
religion check.
Yes.
Like, this is deep lore that is either long
This
forgotten.
is like the second time where whatever the DC is super high. And we know that Greg, I missed the whole point when we started naming him Greg, had said angel's
Eyes.
Angel's eyes. Like, so that's, what is this?
What?
And the Angel of Irons, right? Like, what does that mean?
Like,
Who
what are
these guys? What are they up to?
And, like, what is irons? Because it's not, like, of the material iron. It's irons. What are they calling irons? Like,
Could be
Is this a
swords. could be
chained
chains.
angel.
could be a cleaning service. Irons.
Are they
Yeah.
chemists?
Dry cleaning. What are they? My thought that we were talking about earlier is that like iron and shackles have been an ongoing theme since the beginning, and it kind of trailed off when they did the whole pirate adventure, but now it's maybe coming back with this is the angel of iron that has been stocking up on magical beasts and everything.
What if it is Yasha and she just has no memory of it?
Oh,
Mm.
oh.
I
I like crazy ideas. That's fine.
Yeah, we're
I
here
know,
for
you know
that.
that's
They're
what I'm
all
here for.
they're all welcome here.
The Chained Oblivion, yeah, Morgan, we're thinking that as
Yeah.
well, because it could be
Yeah,
kind of
but-
like I don't remember the main guy
We know
who
that
created
there's-
Ukatoa, but like maybe
Yeah.
Yeah, Chained Oblivion is Thrasadune.
yeah, there is dude.
There's
Uh,
yeah, and so we know that these gods had demigods and generals, and maybe this is a leftover general from the Calamity. Maybe this is some weird sect that like cult that worships this angel, and they're definitely out to mess up a bunch of good times for. I don't know, because
But they're Empire based,
yes,
mhm.
they are.
not Jorhas based.
Yes, which is interesting.
Very interesting.
And we still there's still this plan that happens at the Big
Overclock.
Sun event, right?
Yeah, because they don't know
that's-
anything about this.
yeah.
The Blondman, Craig Blondman.
Because I still think that and isn't that happening soon? Like,
Yeah, I believe so.
Are we gonna miss it now? Because I really wanted to see that, and I feel like it was like
We
2
might.
weeks. It was in 2 weeks from when they first got the house. I think it was like gonna be happening in like 2 weeks or something like that. Because I feel like whatever's being planned by this group was gonna be happening when they're at their most vulnerable, exposed to the sun. I don't know, but now they're going north,
Yeah,
the Mighty Nine,
Back.
and they do whatever the
their house is gonna be
They
cut
want.
on fire.
they come back to like a fallen Roshana. Or
I
like
can't take it.
the Empress is dead, like
And
It's
and
all
and
the
Yeez is in
Europeans.
charge. I don't, because it's what it takes them. It's gonna take them like 5 days. Because Matt
3
says
days
this,
up, 3 days back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
so that they could get there like as the thing's tumbling.
yeah, but we don't know what they're gonna get, what
Ye-
what's gonna leads are gonna have, because they don't follow anything. We know this about the Mighty Nine. The next giant carrot that gets dangled in front of them, they're like, "Ooh, let's
They have the shortest attention span. Hey guys, here's the sign. Okay.
and they're going farther away from.
The guy totally
Problem.
planned it. The guy's like, oh, these people are trying to foil our plans. I'm gonna go north and tell them to follow me. They're gonna be here
Yeah.
now, so you
Yeah,
can do your
that's-
shit.
Yeah.
Dumb. They don't know who this guy.
That is so. That is so true. Like,
Guys,
listen.
I heard a
Get in
random
the car
voice
with a
in my
stranger.
head. I
Yeah.
heard a random voice in my head that told us to come north. We should go.
Hey, I answered one of those anonymous calls, and they say that my college loans are overdue. We should go meet them in this town 3 days over. Will you come with me?
Oh.
There's a Bezosian prince that needs my help. I have to go take this money order to him. It's essentially what's happening here.
Really? She got a spam call. I
Oh man.
can't. Guys, go back. Go back.
Well, yeah. So I mean, they get all that useful information, and then they, talk to the messenger that they shot,
The Dragonborn, yes.
and
Who was delivering a crest, is what he said his job was.
We don't know what the crest was. We don't know who it was to.
Don't know what it was. Doesn't know. He knows nothing about the Angel's irons.
he was just hired to do a
He
job.
literally, they said, "Who do you work for?" He's like, "I serve no one, but work for those who will pay me." Doesn't know the name of the person who hired him last, but he was contracted back in Talonstadt, which is back in the Empire.
Which is another okay.
Yeah, it's another
This
like
guy
red
can't-
flag. Like there's a lot of Empire stuff happening in the Jorhas side of things. Like what's going on, y'all?
We did find out that Talonstadt is a refugee tent city of the Ravenites, following the fall of
yeah, and
Draconia.
I got the whole messy Draconia stuff.
Yeah, so there's all kinds of weird political stuff going on.
Yeah, that was a
There
lot
were
of weird
some of the-
drops. Yeah, like there's nobles, there's Dragonborn or
Well,
Draconians
what
that
they're-
survived, and
That's what they're afraid of. So we know that the Ravenites survived. The nobles were the ones who lived above. So
Yeah.
the thought was that anyone who was living in the floating portion died in the actual fall of Draconia when it came crashing down. But the Ravenites are afraid that some of the nobles survived and are now working within the Empire to subvert them and drive them out, and like, so there's all this conspiracy theories going on with the Dragonborn, and it's just crazy. It was strange little lore drop there about that.
Yeah, and we know that like Draconia itself is kind of in between. It's along the coast. It's down to the south, and it's like on the. It's kind of like in the bottom half of Xhorhas.
Yeah.
So we know that there's who knows what kind of dealings happened all over the place with that. Because we don't know anything about Draconia because it was destroyed by the Chroma conflict.
So we skipped some questions, and they're all kind of like here at the end. So Matt let slip that Greg had given the mission to the Dragonborn before they walked it back, realizing Clay had dropped the disguise. How do you think the Dragonborn got the emblem from the Empire to Shashanaha?
Possibly through Draconia. The Ravenite tent. Who knows?
Well, so like
ruins. Who knows?
So Greg started the thing. Oh, because Greg is part of the Empire. Okay, that makes sense. So Greg, Mr. Blondman, went to the place, and then the Dragonborn had to like figure out how do we get here. Okay, cool. That'll make sense. I just want to know what the emblem was. That's really all I care about. What is it? What is it? Is it one of their like special get anywhere free, but not really because that's not what it means, pass?
Or is it like another one of the portals?
Oh, those are big, right?
Demon
Those are like
Gate
this.
portals? No, the discs were smaller.
Oh, I thought they were like big frisbee size things.
I thought
Because they have like a ball of mercury in the middle.
I thought they were like softball size.
Oh, I thought they were bigger too. I don't.
They might be. I don't know. I could be
It's all theater of the mind.
Yeah, and
So
then
it could be
Anyway,
different for all of us.
Anyway,
this one says, "Wow, Ford really seems to attract crushing embraces, huh? Absolutely,
that's because he's hot.
steaming." It seems likely that old man and Greg both serve whatever this Angel of Irons is. Is it an organization or an individual? We don't know. There's no way of knowing at this point.
Yeah.
It feels like it's an organization,
It
at
could
least,
be
and maybe like worshiping an individual.
It's
Yeah.
a Nancy view.
Ah, yeah!
I can't see you. Stop.
So with that, I guess we'll kind of start to wrap up. And this question says it's for Matt, me, but I'm going to open it up to both of you guys. And it says, of all the NPCs we've seen recently, who would you classify as dummy thick? Personally,
I have a follow-up question to that.
don't ask what it means because I don't know either.
Okay.
So, context clues.
I only know thick. I don't know why it's called dummy.
But okay, so like you know how stupid can be used as like, oh man, you stupid smart.
Nope.
It's a modifier, a positive modifier. That's the same concept. So I would say
It's the first thing that comes up.
It's someone who is exceptionally voluptuous.
I'm gonna say the bugbear that had the dreams about the sexy bugbears. Because they are dummy and probably thick.
Like, I don't. This question.
It's a weird question, and I will track down whoever sent it, and they will apologize.
We have your IP address.
I'm gonna go with Waka.
Ooh.
Oh, nice.
Okay.
I think I'm gonna go with that butcher from.
Yes, the orc. Was it orc or ogre? I think it was.
It was an ogre butcher. It
But
was
I like
fancy.
I
It was
like
fancy.
half orc.
Oh yeah.
That half-orc blacksmith?
Yeah.
Oh dang!
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, wait,
Switch.
no, I changed my mind. You know who's dummy thick?
Minotaur.
The Minotaur.
Dang.
The
Minotaur.
Minotaur.
We get it.
Yep.
That's it.
Consensus?
We solved the dummy thick puzzle.
Oh
it's the
boy.
Minotaur. It's
Uh,
what was his name?
sexy muffins.
Moonbreaker. I don't remember.
Moo breaker.
Moonbreaker.
Sun something, right?
Sunbreaker.
Yeah, he could break my sun energy.
Sun.
Hi-yo! So thank you everybody for tuning in and listening.
We skipped the last little bit. Of
Oh,
the
what is?
episode
Oh,
where
what's
they-
the last little bit?
Jester then started.
Oh, yeah,
trying
the
to-
All the
messages.
sendings.
The
all
messages. The sendings.
Those are
all the
important.
sendings that you can only do after 7 p.m. when the airwaves are a little bit clearer.
But you got to do it before anybody gets on the internet, because those dial-up will mess you up.
Exactly. So we get messages both tomorrow to
Tomorrow.
Yeza. Tomorrow, I love you. They said it's tomorrow to Yeza and to Ruby. The first two tomorrow, and Yeza, everything's fine, all good. When messaging Ruby, we get a little bit of the descriptions from Caleb about Astrid. And then after the message, we get descriptions of Aewolf saying, hey, here's this other dude. Did Liam base them on Lara and Travis? Because I kind of giggled a little bit at that thought. Not gonna lie.
Oh, that's funny.
That's funny. That's funny.
I hadn't thought of that.
Out, but that would have been. That's kind of funny. Also, are we really worried about those?
I'm not
two?
at all.
No.
He's totally blowing that out of proportion, it feels like.
I don't think the letter really triggered anything crazy at the moment.
No.
I think there's a lot of things happening in the Empire, and
There are bigger
that
fish to
little
fry.
letter is not that big of a deal.
Especially since if Astrid and I forget what you said his name was,
Aewolf.
Solomon Grundy.
Sure. Aewolf, but yes.
I got it in one. If they are the Scourgers, as he does to laugh, I'm trying not to. If they are the Scourgers and we know that they're about to be put on a mission, they're not gonna care. They have other things to do. They have jobs. They're not gonna be like, oh, I got this letter, I'm gonna go track it down. It's probably not important.
And
There's
it's
somebody
been how
else.
long?
Yeah, it's been
It's been
months.
how long since those letters got sent?
Yeah, it's been at least a month or two. And nobody's tracked
They
him
sent
down.
it when they were back in Zadash, not even
Yeah.
when they were in Nigodranus. They sent
Well,
those
this was
from
pre-going north
Pre
and
going
dealing
to
with the death of
Nigodranus.
Maul.
It's like episode
Molly
30.
was alive when this
Molly
letter
was
was
alive
live.
when this happened.
Oh boy. Yeah, John Allison has. I think they definitely need to worry about the Scourgers tracking Caleb down, but not because of that letter.
Yeah, they're not going to track down anyone not Caleb. They're going to be tracking Caleb down.
I still feel like Caleb's not
And
that
now
big a
there's-
prize. I'm gonna laugh when they
The
find.
rumor of- Go ahead.
What? You're
I'm gonna laugh when Trent finds them and Caleb is like, "Oh, you've caught me." He's like, "Who are you?" I don't know you.
I was following that blue girl over there.
Yeah.
She's making
would-
trouble. I don't.
I
know
heard
you.
there was a goblin that was reincarnated, and I want to know about that.
I'm not going to lie, I would low-key love that happening.
Right.
Yeah.
But I think they're strangers in a strange land.
Mhm.
That rumor is going to be getting out that there are some weird Empire people that's
Yes!
already. So there's going to be attention focused on the weirdos dealing with the Empress and all that stuff.
Especially since people have openly called them expatriates. They've turned on the Empire. The Empire's
And
gonna
we
hear
know
it and they're
there
gonna
are
check.
Spies, and we know there are spies running around there.
Yeah.
Plenty of other things to worry about.
They're gonna come, and we don't, and they're literally following a disembodied voice north.
Just
We don't even know what's gonna happen to them in Bezozan.
Zatarans.
Zatarans.
Benadryl.
Benadryl, Bezozayan.
Because I don't know about you, but that sounds a lot like Menzoberranzan, which is a drow city in the
Yeah.
Underdark, and Oh.
The tomb underneath could literally be like the fallen civilization of the
You know when you're
previous
that
drow.
parent-
Yeah.
And you have that kid that doesn't listen to you and is always doing something, and then after so many times you're just like, this is what I am with the 99. I don't know what they're gonna do.
Who
Don't know what they're
knows?
gonna do.
They need to be pets.
They
They
do.
need to be petted. They need to be put in a little timeout corner and just let them sit there and think about what they are doing. Anyway.
Yeah, so that's kind of where it ended, and they, as much as they wanted to play more, Matt ended it, I guess, early, or like 30 minutes early.
It wasn't too bad.
Yeah, and then we get to like peek behind the old curtain of them used to play for like 8 hours and like all Postmates and get all this food. But yeah, it's gonna be fun because I literally have no idea where they're gonna go or what's gonna happen. Because all these threads that they have, they're kind of just like, I'm done with that one. It's new yarn ball.
Well, I'm hoping that because they have Ashley, that's what this is directing towards. So like, okay, we're gonna fill in some Ashley, Yasha
Yeah.
backstory while we have the time.
Yeah,
So
we got her. We're not gonna
that's
waste
the
this
thread
time.
they're following.
Yeah. It makes sense because
Yeah.
they renewed Blind Spot, so we know that it's happening.
It's gonna happen. Also, spoiler: have y'all seen anything
So-
about Patterson's character?
No,
No.
but let me
'Cause
tell
it-
you right now, I have a friend that lives here that edits for that show. Because
Nice.
she was like, I'm waiting for my new job. I don't know if I'm gonna have my job still. And then she's like, it's been. I'm like, oh, okay. You're the reason why I
Yeah.
can't.
I
watch
watched
it."
the latest episode, and she does the okay thing.
Oh.
And then she
Aw.
also meets one of the other characters' kids and calls them a monster. And I'm like, yes! Pike.
No, the fan service.
So much fan service in this show.
Adorable. When are they gonna kill her off?
It's gotta be soon. Like, literally, she's shown interest in starting a family, so it's gotta be soon. But yeah, I think that is a good place to wrap up this episode of Critical
well, see,
Not
Reroll.
everything. Fine.
Moving on to Chaos. Who knows what's gonna happen?
It's only gonna get worse from here, I think. Because they're getting like further from the
yeah,
conflict.
Yeah.
Again.
They're gonna join a third faction. Like, are you with the Alliance? Are you with the like?
War.
This is gonna be the other race of Drow, like John Allison said in the chat. Maybe Bizarra is a non-dynasty Drow city, and then they're gonna find out that there's a third side to this whole war, and they're gonna join that team.
We are the Underground Society, and we are the true heirs of the land.
And then
Join
they're
us.
gonna move back to the Empire and join, and then they're just gonna be doing that the whole time.
I also want to know. They said, "Oh, looking at the map, they're like, oh, that looks like a coast over there." How does this? How do they live in a world that has not been fully mapped out yet? In a world of magic, in a world of airships,
Do
how
you?
do they not know what their planet looks like?
Something keeps eating the cartographers. They're gonna get to a point where they just find a pile of like unfinished maps.
Here there be dragons.
Here there be dragons. Nobody's made it past this point. It's a Draco glitch. But yeah, so thank you for tuning in, listening in whatever form you are listening to us or watching us. We do this live on Sundays following episodes of Critical Role. You can find us as a group on Twitter at Critical Reroll. We post these on like YouTube and anywhere you can download podcasts.
Like them, review them, help us
Yes,
be
please.
seen.
Smash
we would
that
really
subscribe
appreciate
button.
it.
Yeah, our form thing that we post, you can leave a comment there. Things that we did that you like, things that we did that you don't like.
Things you want more of.
My face
If
that
don't
you
like
want
the
less
gags,
of.
We'll stop the gags.
Yes.
Well,
Yeah.
Never.
No, we won't. We won't
No.
stop the gags.
can't.
But maybe you can
They
give
can
us
do that.
ideas because we don't have them.
We're doing this too long. We're out of ideas. Anyway, hi.
Have a wonderful.
Have a wonderful night. I was Matt. I was one of your hosts. You can find me on Twitter at Matt_Abernathy.
Hi, I'm Dusty. I won't interrupt Kate this time, and I'm at GeoNerd. You can find me on Twitter and Twitch at GeoNerd, and I'm also one of your hosts.
And I am your third host for this podcast. I'm Kate, and you can find me at SeaMonster on Twitch and on Twitter. And I love your faces.
Yeah, everybody say bye.
And your ears.
And your ears. I'm gonna whisper sweet nothings in your ears.
Ooh, that's right up my alley.
I gotta go walk a dog, apparently.
All right. Everybody say bye.
I told you to walk the dog. Like you're a teenager again.
Bye.